Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDex,
And I'm Sophie.
and today we are bringing you a discussion-based review on Mario Golf Super Rush, which has just come out on the Nintendo Switch. And we've got a very special guest joining us for this one. We've got Geoffrey from the Indie Gaming Guild.
Hello, thank you Dave, thank you Sophie. I really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm not legally allowed to talk about these types of Nintendo games on my channel. Dave says I'm not legally allowed to, so the fact that I can do it with you guys right now, it means a lot, so thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, I know you like Nintendo games, so I would like to give you this opportunity to be able to legally talk about Nintendo. So, anytime you can come on this channel. So, basically, this is a golf simulator game with some Mario characters in, as you'd expect. And so, this isn't a sort of professional, properly scripted review because, you know, we didn't get given this game to review. We've each bought a copy of the game ourselves. And we spent a couple of days on it, and we're just here to bring you our general thoughts on the game after a couple of days' progress. So first thing I want to ask you, Geoffrey, is how far through the story mode have you gotten?
So this is something I was worried to talk about because I've heard it's been divisive in other videos I've watched about it. So basically through the adventure mode, I'm at the, I already forgot the name. What's the Rocky Mountain Peak area thing? What's the Rocky level called, the mountain one?
Ridge Rock Lake?
Yeah, so I basically, where I ended up stopping because both running out of time and frustration was the cross-country golf. I basically got to the point where the tournament to get the bronze, I guess, badge or whatever it was, and I failed it the first time, and I didn't have time to want to go back and retry it, and I was frustrated by that. So I got as far as the cross-country tournament in Rocky Ridge, or whatever it's called.
Okay, well, we haven't gotten that far in it yet. We've only sort of done the sort of like the opening area, just because of time. I was mostly focused on the just unlocking the courses through the standard play.
Mm-hmm.
So far it's been mostly the tutorials that we've seen from it, and obviously some speed golf it done.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of did the sort of thing of Mario Tennis Aces where like the different things are sort of teaching you how the main game works as well, but it's more there's a bit more to it than Mario Tennis Aces had, I'm finding so far, because Mario Tennis Aces made you play as Mario. It had its storyline, but it was more sort of linear map, whereas here's got like a 3D world you can wander around in.
Yeah, it's like open, but then everything's always at that gate. From what I've seen anyway.
I mean, it sort of tells you where to go, but you can still explore a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a shop, you can buy things and you level up, and it's your standard affair. It's kind of like a bit like Golf Story in a way, but not as story focused. So we were grateful for this Mii mode because it meant we could play as Tom Hanks in this game. And Tom Hanks makes everything better.
Yes, he does. Very true.
But yeah, so it's not a full proper RPG that like the old Game Boy games had, even though I've not played those. But it's something there, just for the single player. So basically, if we're going to go into what the actual golf mechanics are like in this game, sort of if you're playing in the normal mode as well. So we'll start with the stroke play, just your basic standard golf. How are you finding that, Geoffrey?
It's a lot of fun. So I don't play golf in real life because I'm not good at sports at all. And so I've always enjoyed golf games, though, and I think that's true for a lot of people. And the Mario Golf games have been a lot of fun, but I haven't played many since Mario Golf on the N64 and on the GameCube. But what I really like is, and was surprised by, with the regular golf mechanics, this game is pretty in-depth. Like, you would think a Mario game, a Nintendo game like this, it's going to be pretty light on the actual golfing mechanics. But there's a lot of nuance to it in the terms of the types of shots, the spins, adjusting for wind, your trajectory. It's actually a lot more of a simulator, and you had mentioned golf simulator, than people would think. So the actual stroke play and playing hole-to-hole does feel good, if a bit repetitive, which may just be par for the course, if you excuse the pun, for a golf game in general.
Yeah, because I find mentioning the N64 one, again, that one I wasn't expecting to be as in-depth as it was, because I had a lot of people that I showed the game to and they just could not get the ball to go anywhere. They had no idea how to play. It was too complicated for them. And so since then I've found like the Mario Golf games to be really good golf simulators, and this one is no different. It plays as you'd expect a Mario Golf game to play. But we'll go into sort of like the different sort of courses that you can get with it. Because there's a few concerns I've seen people have about this game, like when I'm looking at various comment sections and things. I've generally avoided reviews of this game before I did this one. So, Sophie, what do you think of actually playing the game?
Okay, so I agree with you, Geoffrey. I really liked the controls. They were like very in depth and a bit more in depth because I really love Golf Story. That was like my favourite golf game ever. But there's like more to this one where you can curve the ball by pulling back on the left stick and then to the side as well. I think it's just shaping your shot.
Yeah,
I think is what it's called.
Yep.
I found that part really good. I don't like the stamina in battle. Is it battle?
The speed golf.
Speed golf. I don't like the stamina. I feel like it should be like Mario Party mini games where you just go and it's like all a race against time. I feel like that would be more fun, and still have the fact that you can like barge each other and stuff, but having a stamina, I understand it in the adventure mode, but I don't understand it in the speed golf mode where it's like a mini game.
Sure.
And then, sorry, last thing, the motion controls.
Oh yeah, have you tried the motion controls, Geoffrey?
It's funny, I actually forgot that motion controls were a part of this until I ran out of time and I read something, so I haven't. I've just been playing regular Pro Controller.
Just keep it forgotten.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really not responsive. I don't know whether that's our Joy-Cons, but we used 2 sets of Joy-Cons and it just was not good.
You managed to hit a ball once. I haven't managed to hit a ball yet.
And then I couldn't recreate that shot.
And it's just a shame that like 15 years ago, Wii Sports managed to get motion golf down really well. And the Joy-Cons should be able to do it better, but for some reason we just couldn't get it to work. Which is a shame.
Well, thank goodness there's, Nintendo provided both options because, I feel like a lot of games might just say, nope, you have to play this way, or nope, you have to play this way. So it's nice that they at least gave the option for people that, do want to try it either way. But it's a bummer that's not, more well implemented.
So one concern I've seen people say a lot, and it's one where I can understand this, but in the same way I want to defend it, is people say there's only 6 courses in this game. Now, the N64 Mario Golf had 6 courses as well, and the GameCube had 7, although one of them was sort of like mini holes, so to speak. But the thing is, we are getting free updates with this game, because it is very, I would say I agree, it is bare bones on content compared to previous Mario Sports games. But the same was true of Mario Tennis Aces. A year later, after these free updates, the game was like a lot bigger than it was at launch. So I'm wondering, they've already confirmed we're getting new characters and courses added, and hopefully some game modes as well. So maybe in like a year's time we can take another look at it. So those that are hesitant because it seems light on content, I'd say, just don't buy it yet. Just wait a year, then see how big the game is then.
Sure. Because
I feel like it will offer a lot more in a year's time.
That's fair.
And speaking of content as well, and on the main menu, and there's this menu slot called Solo Challenge. In there you've got Score Attack and Time Attack. Basically, Score Attack is just solo play, like stroke play on your own. Time Attack is just speed golf on your own. You can play those games one player on the play golf option, so I don't know why there's a separate menu option for that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't know if they just did that to make it seem like there was more options.
Unless Nintendo, and this is completely just speculation and hyperbole, but like unless they were planning on originally having, because when I saw Solo Challenge and I opened it up, I expected to be like, here's 20 challenges where you need to do this course with this thing and this, that, and it was like a very specific challenge to like get extra XP or whatever, I don't know. And when you open it up and you just see those 2 modes, my wonder is like, did Nintendo plan to have extra challenges, or are they going to add to it like you said? But it does feel kind of like it was tacked on.
Yeah, because one, I think it's a staple of Mario Golf, is called Ring Shot mode, and Mario Tennis Aces didn't have that at first, but I think they added it on later on, so I'm hoping Ring Shot at least gets added to it. But in the adventure mode, there's like, in the training, there's like where you can take a shot and there's like these targets on the course with numbers on that you have to land it on to get certain scores, so I don't know why that isn't in there as like mini games that you can play in multiplayer to see who can get the highest scores doing that, and little things like that, because they have a few little gimmicky challenges like that in the adventure mode I've seen. So, I'm hoping they're already programmed into the game, so I hope that they bring that to the multiplayer side of things in the future.
To flesh those areas out, like Sophie said, more of a mini game style as opposed to just like these disparate events that kind of take place from time to time.
So how have you unlocked all of the courses yet?
I haven't. So I wanted to focus most of my time. So I know that it sounds like from talking to you guys have been playing together a lot of multiplayer. I just played the game solo, so I wanted to focus a lot on the adventure mode to see how far I could get. So I haven't unlocked all the courses because doing that through adventure mode means you have to obviously go through each of the zones, and they take a little while because you have to go through multiple practices, tournaments, things like that. And I've played through some of the regular just play golf mode, playing as Mario or Luigi or whatever. But so I've only gotten to the point of the Rocky Ridge. So I'm curious to hear about the future stages, like there's a desert one, a snow one, I think, right?
So basically, if you go into the play golf mode, all you need to do is play a round of golf on the previous course to unlock the next one.
But it's 18 holes.
Yeah, play the 18 hole. You get a desert one after Ridge Rock Lake, Balmy Dunes. Then it's Wild Weather Woods, which is sort of a woods one, I suppose.
That's my favourite one.
And then you've got Bowser Highlands. So another concern people have had is they said this game looks kind of bland compared to previous Mario Golfs, and sort of not very much Mario gimmickiness that you've seen in the previous ones. And let's go in. So Rookie Course, I fully agree, is not a very interesting course. It's very small and every hole looks the same essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then so Bonnie Greens, I feel like should have been the first course. It's your basic sort of grassy one, but more interesting than Rookie Course.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ridge Rock Lake's the one that introduces sort of hazards like the whirlwinds and I can't remember what they're called, the boulders from Mario Galaxy
and the blowy wind
the blowy clouds from Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
I know all the characters' names in Mario. But then, the desert one, you got like pokies and things like that in the way. And I can understand that they're not too exciting for the most part. But what I want to get into is the final one, the Bowser one. This is the course that what people wanted from Mario Golf. It's got like fire bars, lava jumping up like bob-ombs and whomps all over the place on the holes. If every course was like this, I don't think anyone would be complaining about it. So it is a shame it's just 1 out of the 6. But again, we're getting new courses, and they've already shown one of them is New Donk City, or looks like it.
That's amazing.
So
it is cool.
So if they carry on with this line, and I don't know how many they'll add, but so I think this has the potential to give us the zany Mario Golf people want. But obviously, as it is now, I understand that it isn't as sort of varied, and even so, a lot of it from Mario standards, it's kind of I don't want to say realistic looking, but it's not very vibrant or colourful that you'd expect from a Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first few are very vibrant, but yeah, after that, except for Wild Weather Woods, I think I really like that just to look at. There's nothing really special about it.
I'd say the nice. First two, it's a lot of green.
Yeah. But
it is golf.
So, yeah.
What I will say is, and I don't want to overstep, so let me know if this is something you were going to touch on, but in terms of the presentation of it, the one thing I was really surprised in a great way was the little environments in the adventure mode that you explore. So for example, the Bonnie Greens area, like walking around, there's little bridges and rivers and little buildings that you can go into. It's a lot of it is superficial, but I found it to be really charming. There was relaxing music. You get to just kind of run around, talk to Koopas and Goombas and things like that. And it's not necessary, but I found it to be really charming. So obviously I haven't seen all the areas like you guys have, but I did think that was a nice touch to be able to actually just walk around freely in like a 3D platformer style.
I like that too. The little church, I was really sad when you couldn't go into it, but it was really nice to see.
It was.
Yeah, and on like the courses themselves, there's always bridges, there's always a way, because sometimes in the older Mario Golfs, like there'd be like you're hitting it onto an island sometimes, or over a pit, and it's like then you're just there for your next shot, and my brother and I would say, how did they get there? But obviously because of speed golf, they have to make a way for you to get there.
Yeah.
True.
So it makes sense for them to do that. But yeah, overall I think the course design is good. It's not at the minute, as I've blasted through them all over a weekend, so it's not, other than the Bowser one, no holes are particularly memorable. But going back to the N64 Mario Golf, that really wasn't a zany Mario game. For the most part, it was the courses were just more realistic designs, other than the sixth one, which had lots of like Mario character shapes on the course. But for the most part, they were just straight, and half the cast weren't even Mario characters in that. Yes, I mean, the GameCube one had a lot more zany Mario, like with warp pipes, chain chomps and stuff, and there's not much of that in this game. But I think with that Bowser one at the end, they are getting there.
So hopefully they'll bring that to the DLC.
Yeah, so
and
hopefully.
with New Donk City, that would be quite cool with cars and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, see the hazards. And yes, some of the hazards, like those bowls and stuff, they can hit you as you're taking your shot.
I know. I only know too well.
If you press L when taking a shot, you can do a power shot.
Yes.
And at first I thought that was the equivalent of the, like, in the older ones where you press B to activate your power shot. But no, it's sort of a way of attacking your opponent's ball. Like, if your opponent's balls, if you hit it so it lands there, it will do something to your opponent's ball. Like, with Yoshi would make it turn into a Yoshi egg, and then it sort of...
That was cool.
Yeah, it does a weird thing. Yeah, so and all the different characters do sort of different things with their balls, and also in the speed golf, which I suppose we can talk a bit more about that now. I've heard Adventure Mode does a lot of speed golf.
Yeah, so the adventure mode is, again, that's where I spent most of my time, because I was, as a solo player, I figured there'd be the most there. It's pretty much just speed golf, for the most part, at least what I've played. So, to be honest, the whole running from your ball and to the tee and all that jazz, it's a really unique mechanic, but as a solo player, it quickly gets tedious, is what I will say. I can see that if you have a bunch of friends, or if you're playing with us online, or a few people, and you're having fun with your favorite Mario character and you're running into each other, yeah, that sounds great. But as a solo player, just running to your ball with an AI character, like, it just ends up feeling like it makes the game take too long, where you'd rather just get to the next shot or the next hole. It felt fun at first, but it does quickly lose its luster. And there's a mode that once we get to it in the adventure mode, I'm curious of what you guys think if you've played it, which is the cross-country mode. So, and I didn't know if this would just be a part of it, because the running mechanic is in there, the speed golf is in there. So the cross-country mode is basically you start on the course, you can shoot to any, you can hit your ball to any flag you want. Now, the way that works is you have a certain number of strokes. So, for example, in like the thing that I failed, the tournament, you have 40 strokes. So you have to get to all of the flags, all of the holes, all under 40 strokes. But you can basically go and hit wherever you want. In theory, that sounds great. But what happens is, especially on like the Rocky Ridge, where it's a lot of, uphill and downhill, it ends up just becoming a really tedious thing of, if you've hit your ball in the right area, or if you don't, you end up having to either start over or try to find a new hole. It encourages some creativity, but this cross-country mode, it ends up actually just making the speed golf feel really, really drawn out to the point where you don't know where you should be hitting. And I have heard from other, videos and things that mode is divisive. So it's just something to think about.
I can't wait to get to that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Did you try out Battle Golf at all?
I did. So again, playing the solo, it's not quite the same playing it with AI. So I'm actually really curious to hear what you guys think of playing the game together. But playing the battle mode was actually a lot of fun. It was really, so basically the way battle mode works is you're dropped in this kind of arena or this like course. You have all these different holes and hazards, like there's bombs and chain chomps, piranha plants, whatever. And you basically just need to hit to a certain number of holes first, like that's one of the things, like a score attack, but you're basically competing in like a battle royale against everyone else to do that first. So as a solo player, it wasn't clearly as fun as with other people, but I like it as an inclusive mode for people that are going to play with their friends or family. How was it in multiplayer?
It was a lot of fun once we knew what we were doing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was quite manic at first, and we were like, I mean, we did this on live stream, and people saw firsthand how we reacted to this. And yeah, by the time we got like to us, when it clicked with us, I was like, this is actually a really fun mode. And like, obviously, when you put the ball in the hole, it's sort of like that hole disappears.
Mm-hmm.
So like sometimes you'll be going for a certain hole, but then someone else's ball gets there just before you, and you're like, so you got to be crafty, sort of get to the holes first, but also maybe you want to go for one that no one else is going for, or if you're confident enough to go for the one other people are, so you can get there before they do to stop them getting a point. So there is a lot of strategy in there, and there's a lot of mayhem and some
the
random
hazards.
elements as well. Which,
The chain chomp man.
which this is like the Mario Golf, what people would want from it, really. And it's a shame this isn't more expansive, but again, maybe they'll add to it.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's good to hear that it was a lot more enjoyable with people, which makes sense. These types of games are built for multiplayer, or at least can be a lot more fun in multiplayer.
So overall, Geoffrey, what would be your recommendation for this game?
Before I give the recommendation, what I want to say is, and this was from my wife, and I want to mention this because I feel like this was really important. When I was running from hole to hole, she watched me play a majority of this game. She wasn't interested in playing it. Golf's not her thing. But as I was running from hole to hole, she had said if everyone had their own golf cart or a Mario Kart thing where you could actually drive a golf cart and crash into each other, that would actually make things a lot more enjoyable. So I think if they add golf carts, that could be a lot more fun. But to be honest, as a solo player, I would say it's probably not worth getting right now just because it feels bare bones. It doesn't have quite the charm as some Nintendo adjacent games. The adventure mode kind of gets stale, but as a multiplayer person, I can't speak to that. So I would say wait for a little bit of a sale if you're just a solo player, since that's how I played it.
That's proper genius about the carts.
Yeah, that's actually a really good shout.
She's a smart lady.
My thought is if you want it, then you've already bought it, let's face it. But if you're on the fence about it, I'd say wait a year. In a year's time, because Mario Tennis had a year's worth of updates every month. They added a new character and extra modes and stuff over time. And if they add more courses and characters, I'd say go for it.
It seems like the perfect game for a family. I think if you have kids, or if you have a family that just loves to sit down every week, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But
and also let it be known that obviously when you're doing the speed golf and battle golf, you can play 2 players on the same console, but 4 players online or across multiple switches. And which I'm guessing is because of the split screen, wouldn't be as good for how the camera is for 4 screens on the same TV. But if you're playing standard golf, like turn-based, you can play 4 players with 1 controller.
But the one thing I just get worried about is, and this doesn't have to stay in this, I suppose, but is that a lot of games, and this seems to be the case of what you guys mentioned of not a lot of content, I get worried the trend that is being set with a lot of games where, we are spending hard-earned money to buy these games, and while there is usually a good game there, this lack of content, and while it does come down the line with free updates, it just seems to sometimes set a dangerous precedence that we're expecting nothing or very little, and then it eventually comes, but it's almost, why not wait till it's all ready first? So it's just something that I think about a lot because it's happening more and more, not just with Nintendo, of course, but it's just something that I feel like made me feel this a lot, spending the full price on this kind of a game.
With my issue with this whole free updates thing is I feel like it's robbing gameplay. Because, say we've got 16 characters in this, and they'll probably add 12 more if there's 1 a month for a year. But I miss the days where you'd have your characters, say in Mario Golf, the original, and then there was 10 of them that you unlocked. And that was a lot of the solo player gameplay for me, was unlocking everything. But there's nothing to unlock. You play through the courses to unlock the next one, but there's not really much to do to actually unlock things.
It takes out the fun of that.
Yeah.
In Mario Kart, you get to unlock.
Yeah, Mario Kart, you unlock the kart parts and stuff. But in the original Mario Golf as well, there were these things called birdie badges.
Oh.
And you got a badge for getting a birdie on a certain hole.
Oh, I thought it was an actual birdie, but yeah, now I get it.
And basically, you had to get there's 108 holes in that game. If you got a birdie on each one, you got the birdie badge. If you got all 108 birdie badges, that's how you unlocked Metal Mario. And that took a long time to get him, and that was what kept me playing that game for a long time. But there's nothing like that on here.
Not yet, anyway. We don't know.
Yeah, but hopefully there will be then. And speaking of features from the original Mario Golf missing, where is that crazy golf mode?
Oh yeah,
I'd
love to have crazy golf.
I don't think any of the Mario Golf since the original have had crazy golf in it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder why that hasn't come back, unless it just didn't. Yeah, that's a good question.
that was the mode we played the most. Oh well. So,
here we are.
So anyway, that was our conversation about Mario Golf Super Rush. So overall, it plays well. It's has some good modes on it, but not enough to justify full price yet. In a year's time it probably will, but we'll wait and see on that. So if you're on the fence, wait a year, wait for a sale. But yeah, overall mechanically it works well, but it just feels a bit bare bones at the minute. Does that sum it up all right, Geoffrey?
That sums it up great. I definitely agree with that.
Cool. So thank you very much for joining us, Geoffrey. Do you want to let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, well, thank you, Dave and Sophie. I really do appreciate this. Having an opportunity to talk about these bigger, especially Nintendo games on your channel really does mean a lot, so thanks for the opportunity. If you guys like it, if anyone that's listening likes indie games, reviews, gameplay, impressions, live streams, think about hopping on over to the Indie Gaming Guild, where I put out videos almost every day, and Dave and Sophie are a wonderful part of that community as well. But thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Jeff. I'll put a link to your channel down below so people can check out, subscribe to you. And while you're doing that, why don't you subscribe to us as well? We're nearly on 1,000 subscribers, which is amazing. We're very, very grateful to everyone who has clicked subscribe. So also make sure you click likes on the videos as well, and that helps us out a lot as well. So all there's left to say is, yeah, thank you for watching as well. So see you in the next one.
Goodbye.